Live from Dolphin Soccer Park on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet welcomes you into coverage of NCAA Division II Women's Soccer, streaming exclusively on Flow College. Today, CSI Women's Soccer is approaching must-win territory as they face the Queens College Knights on Senior Day. Good morning, everyone. My name is Joe Foreman, joined on the call by Nicholas Bavona. And first off, Nick, welcome back. It's been a while since we heard from you here on CSI Sportsnet. But during the time you've been off the headset, the East Coast Conference standings have really taken shape. It's that time of the year where we open every pregame with playoff talk, so why don't you tell us where things stand entering today's ECC match?
Yeah, it's pretty much gut check time for these teams, Joe, trying to get into that postseason positioning. And as you mentioned, let's talk about where the things stand right now in terms of the East Coast Conference. Each team in the ECC has played at least 3 conference games so far on the season. Several teams, including the Dolphins, have played in 4 games this year. As we know, Joe, top 6 teams make the playoffs. The Dolphins currently are tied for 6th right now with D'Youville. However, the Saints hold the tiebreaker by the virtue of their win over CSI earlier on in the season. D'Youville on the year is 1-2 in the ECC. They have 3 points on the season. They will face Stack today, who is 0-3-1 in the ECC with their lone point. I'm sure we'll be keeping monitor of that score. The Dolphins, I'm sure they'll also be monitoring that score, because if the Saints do win today, today's game against Queens is likely a must-win for CSI. So this becomes a really important game if D'Youville wins that one. After today, both CSI and Queens will have 2 ECC matchups remaining against the top 4 teams in the standing. So not an easy task for these 2 teams after today's contest. And then the bottom line is this, Joe. The winner of this game between the Dolphins and the Knights, they've got a really good chance of making the playoffs at the end of the season.
Plenty on the line for both of these teams today, with 2 tough conference matches looming on the schedule for both of them. And Nick, looking back to last year, it was 1 year ago tomorrow that the Dolphins were playing for their playoff lives here at home. Mathematically, that is not the case today, but with 2 very tough opponents left on the conference schedule, I personally think this is as close to a must-win as it gets in mid-October. However, the playoff picture is not the only big story heading into today's matchup with the Knights. It is also Senior Day here at Dolphin Soccer Park. Just 2 graduating Dolphins this season in Jillian Gardner and Brianna Dorr. Both are 4-year members of the program and have been a part of this Dolphins team for nearly the entire Division II history of CSI women's soccer.
Yeah, talking about Gardner first off, she's appeared in just 2 games during her CSI career, 1 in 2022 and 1 here in 2025. She got her first game action since her freshman season on Wednesday in that big 10-0 win against Lincoln. And then going to Brianna Dorr reaching 100 saves for her Dolphins career on Wednesday, so a lot of monumental marks in that game. 1.79 goals allowed average for Dorr, 2 shutouts, and a 76 save percentage for her CSI career.
And Nick, it's always great to see 4-year members of the program get the chance to be recognized, and we'll have full coverage of our Senior Day ceremony coming up shortly. But you did mention Wednesday's game a couple of times in regard to our seniors. How about that performance by CSI against Lincoln University earlier in the week? It came against a struggling Lions team that didn't quit despite being down a player for much of the match, but it had to feel good for this Dolphins team to break out in a double-digit record-setting scoring effort.
Yeah, I mean, what more can you say about what the Dolphins did on Wednesday, Joe? They had just 5 goals on the season entering that matchup on Wednesday. Now they have a total of 15. 26 shots, also a season high for CSI. They had 13 of those shots on goal. Hat trick for Annika Jurek. What a performance she had in that game. She now leads the Dolphins on the year with 4 goals. And now with that game, Joe, they have just a -2 on the 2025 season at 15 and 17.
-2 goal differential for the Dolphins following that big win against the Lions. They have to be feeling pretty good entering this matchup with Queens. And Nick, we already touched on what this game means in terms of playoffs for these 2 teams, but I should reiterate that this game is not only a big one for the Dolphins, it is also huge for the Knights. For now, Queens has a 1-point advantage over CSI, but a loss today completely shifts the dynamic of the playoff picture. 3 points for either side today puts them firmly in command of their playoff fate with 2 difficult games left on the ECC schedule. What has these 2 teams in a very similar position at this point in the season, and what players could possibly be big difference makers for the Knights as they come into Dolphin Soccer Park in search of a big road win?
Well, much like CSI, Joe, the Queens College, the Knights have been very limited in scoring this season, which is 7 goals in 12 matchups. They've allowed 22. So that's definitely a concerning mark there for them. The big difference for the two teams is that Queens did defeat Dewville, which is very interesting. If CSI wins today, it could set up a three-way tiebreaker. Queens has a pair of players with 2 goals this season, and Mia Gochachea and Ava Lekanidis, and former Dolphin Adriana Melgar has 1 goal and 2 assists. She's tied for second on the team with 4 points.
And Nick, we are going to stay right here on CSI Sportsnet and throw it down to field level, where our camera operator, Pat Gialorenzo, is going to provide us some of the sights from Senior Day. Our microphones will stay online, and Joe Calabrese will lead us through our Senior Day presentation.
Our first senior hails from Center Ridge, New York, and is a 4-year player for the women's soccer program and a 3-year SAC member. She is a resilient player who returned to the field after overcoming an ACL injury during her rookie season. She is known as the team's confidant and a powerful vocal leader who brings energy and heart to everything she does on and off the field. She will be graduating early with a bachelor's degree in English, concentrating in linguistics, and minoring in speech-language pathology. Upon graduation, she plans to immediately pursue a master's degree in speech-language pathology. She is joined today by her mom, dad, her 2 sisters, and her boyfriend. Ladies and gentlemen, number 26, Jillian Gardner. Our next senior is a 4-year student athlete for the Dolphins and has been a mainstay in goal throughout the 2025 season. In her career, she currently has 100 saves through 21 games and sits in the 8th and 9th spots in saves in a single season save record book. And with her 40 saves this year, she sits 6th overall in that category. She recorded 1,568 minutes in net and has recorded 3 shutouts after last Wednesday's non-conference victory over Lincoln. As a Verrazano honor student, graduating with a degree in education and having already completed a minor in business, she plans to continue her academic journey by pursuing a master's degree in early childhood education. She is joined on the field today by her mom, dad, sister, aunt, grandma, and boyfriend. Ladies and gentlemen, number 1, Brianna Dorr.
And we are back here on CSI Sportsnet with about 5 minutes to go before the start of today's game between the Queens College Knights and the CSI Dolphins. Joe Foreman on the call alongside Nicholas Bavona. And Nick, we're joined by a very special guest making the trip all the way up from Atlanta. Former women's soccer head coach Alex Mendolia joins us on the call. Alex, welcome to Sportsnet for your broadcast debut.
I'm excited to be here, guys. First time, obviously, to be here live on radio, and looking forward to the game.
All right, Coach. Great opportunity for you today to get to see a couple of four-year seniors celebrated on Senior Day. We're going to turn the clock back a year. We have a highlight package from last year's game against Queens College. You can help walk us through some of what happened here, but the game last year against the Knights, a game that saw Queens jump out to an early lead. The team then bounced back and got even. It was a back-and-forth game, but we have the highlights coming up on the screen right now. Nick, why don't you fire those for us? Here's a look back. Things got started with an Anna Tavansis goal. Queens going in front 1-0 now. Coach, it's a bit dark, not necessarily the best for film analysis, but the goal is coming up right here. Takeaway by Queens in the midfield. They come down and score the first goal of the match, but your team came right back. A player who's done a lot in terms of goal scoring for you, Caitlin Thompson, she gets the score even.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I remember that moment. We went into the game with a great game plan. Went down one, but that second goal by Caitlin to get back gave us a little bit more life and belief into the game.
Well, it is the first half, not the first set, as you see on your screen, but that is corrected a bit later. Thompson levels the score for CSI at 1 goal per side, but once again, it was Tavansis in the 52nd minute early in the second half off the corner. The ball skips through some traffic, and the ensuing shot finds the back of the net. Not much you can do there as a goalkeeper.
Yeah, definitely.
Fast forward about 10 minutes or so after that. Queens now with a 2-1 lead. Another set piece, this time from the opposite corner. Ball finds its way through traffic. And on the looks of that replay, it appears possible the team may have run it into their own net. That makes it 3-1, but no quit in your team, Coach. Jenna Como, in her first game back as a Dolphin last year, a 25-yard shot from a long way out. Here comes the long shot from Como. The ball skips around a bit, winds up on her foot. How about that strike? A volley straight out of the air.
Yeah.
It was great to have Jenna back for that segment of the season, and gave us 2 to 3 goals from what I believe at the end of that spell for her. So it was awesome moment for us.
It was a triumphant return for Como, who came back to the team last season, and in the end it was Queens adding one more, and you can't place it much better than that. Off the bar, straight down, just beyond the goal line and in.
And I think we had questions on this one, from what I remember.
It sure looks like it based on that replay, and eventually they do rule it a goal. Of course, the Queens sideline liking that. I'm sure there was some protest from your sideline on that particular play, but it's a big match for the Dolphins today, Coach. They likely need to win this one. Mathematically, that is not the case, but in all likelihood, this is a game they have to have. What does this team need to do to find success against Queens today?
I think having the game at home on a special day like Senior Day plays into the momentum of the match, and that's what we hope to see from the beginning. And I think for us is to be solid in defense. Don't give up many chances. They're a team that likes to shoot from distance, so if we can close down those angles, that would be really obviously a key to the game. And then in possession is just to keep the ball, play to feet, let the ball do the work, and capitalize on the moments that we get in front of goal.
Now, an article online alone can't do it justice. You and I got to have a great conversation on the Dolphin Pod as well, but tell us about your latest opportunity with the U.S. national team and where that has taken you as you're looking to make a big move coming up soon.
Yeah, it's been an incredible start to the new position, working as a senior performance analyst with U.S. Soccer, and now I'm in the process of fully relocating, and as of tomorrow we go into camp for some friendly matches with the senior team and under 23 program, which is going to be really exciting, and it's going to be a big step forward with the 2027 World Cup in Brazil coming up, so we're looking forward to that.
And on Senior Day, I have one final question for you. Fondest memory during your time with the Dolphins? I'm sure there were many, but if there's more than one, share a few of your best memories working at the College of Staten Island and with this team.
I think off the field is definitely our top chef, which everyone
I like
hopefully
that
got
answer.
That's a great answer.
got to see at some of the the filmings here. I think that was definitely one piece that I don't forget. A lot of good memories, a lot of good laughs, and great food.
And we also got to see his infamous play a couple weeks ago, too.
That's right. That's right. I don't think I've ever seen that kind of hustle from a defender. Or were you coming out of a defensive position, or were you coming out of the midfield?
I think I was playing as a holding mid in that game.
Okay.
Work ethic, that was my big thing.
You have to practice what you preach, and I'm sure you
That's
preach
right.
that kind of effort to
As
the team.
soon as you proposed the question, I knew exactly where it was going. I said there's no way there was going to be a foul called.
But
Yeah, Nick got it right.
in all fairness, I couldn't decelerate my feet at this point. so
No,
I think that's part of it.
Full steam ahead.
Now, how old is that clip?
2 years old.
2 years old. So
Yeah, 2 years.
you're still moving.
Yeah.
You're still moving. I'm not moving that fast. I
No.
can tell you. Once there was a 3 in the first digit of my age, my ability to move that fast was gone. But, Coach, thanks for joining us. We're going to step aside here and take a very quick break. When we come back, starting lineups, the national anthem, and kickoff between the Dolphins and the Knights.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Dolphin Soccer Park on the campus of the College of Staten Island for today's East Coast Conference matchup between the visiting Queens College Knights and your CSI Dolphins. And now the starting lineup for the visiting Knights. A freshman from Westlake, Ohio, number 2, Avery Schreffler. A freshman from Sammamish, Washington, number 4, Grace Kinney. A junior from Fallbrook, New York, number 5, Anna Devansis. A sophomore from Orlando, Florida, number 6, Keely Hardin. A junior from Valley Stream, New York, number 9, Yubi Lewis. A junior from Middle Village, New York, number 10, Ashley Peeblitz. A redshirt sophomore from Garden City, New York, number 16, Ava Lacanitas. A junior from Wantagh, New York, number 22, Ava Anjuli. A senior from Queens, New York, number 23, Adriana Melgar. A freshman from Fresh Meadow, New York, number 30, Mia Guercachea. And in goal, a sophomore from Plainview, New York, number 1, Sam Hines Hirsch. The Knights are coached by Thomas Paris, and he's assisted by Lucio Sordo, Rachel Eisert, Kevin Stewart, and Juan Cruz Ladino. And now, the starting lineup for your CSI Dolphins. A freshman from Sacramento, California, number 3, Phoebe Sola. A freshman from Baltimore, Maryland, number 7, Isabella Schlee. A freshman from Caddo, New Jersey, number 8, Sarah O'Donnell. A freshman from Phoenix, Arizona, number 15, Annika Yurek. A freshman from Green Valley, Missouri, number 17, Mia Cole. A sophomore from Hightstown, New Jersey, number 18, Rachel Charsky. A sophomore from Cypress, Texas, number 19, Riley Hammond. A junior from Staten Island, New York, number 21, Ethan Thompson. A senior from Center East, New York, number 26, Jillian Gardner. A graduate student from Fulton, New Jersey, number 30, Cassie Cirinelli. And in goal, a senior from Staten Island, New York, number 1, The Dolphins are coached by Joseph Adameu, and he's assisted by Veneri Ranawira and Usman Kamara. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise and remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem. The NCAA and College of Staten Island promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. Any profanity, racial, or sexist comments or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the field. Any use or consumption of alcoholic beverages and tobacco products is prohibited. CSI would like to thank all its corporate sponsors: Buffalo Wild Wings, TLC Physical Therapy, Jimmy Max, Kettle Black, Cobra, McDonald's, and Richmond University Medical Center.
And we are back from Dolphins Soccer Park, where the starting lineups have just been introduced ahead of today's match between the College of Staten Island and Queens College. Joe Foreman on the call alongside Nicholas Bavona. And very quickly, we'll get you the starting lineups for both teams. First, in goal for Queens is Samantha Hines-Hirsch. The rest of the night starters in numerical order: Schreffler, Kinney, Tavansis, Harden, Lewis, Keebles, Lekanides, and Julie, Melger, and Goycochea. For the Dolphins, in goal is Brianna Dorr, one of two seniors being recognized today, along with Jillian Gardner, who is also in the starting lineup. The rest of the Dolphins starters in numerical order: Asola, Schlee, O'Donnell, Urick, Cole, Charsky, Hammond, Thompson, and Cirinelli.
And Joe, we always talk about, for so many different sports, what the importance of senior day is for these teams. And for this Dolphins team, not only is it important that being today is senior day, but you're also fighting for a playoff spot right now with what we talked about earlier on, the scenarios that need to go down for the Dolphins here. This is essentially a must-win for CSI, so a big type of game feel here, just moments away from kickoff.
Yeah, Nick, I think there's no question about it. It's not mathematically the case, but I believe this game is a must-win. However, if you do win it, then you have, I would say, a better than 50-50 shot of making the postseason. I said it earlier in the year. I think what it comes down to in an 8-team conference where 6 teams make the playoffs is picking up 2 wins. If you pick up 2 wins, you secure 2 tiebreakers. Any points you can get on top of 2 victories gives you a better chance. And right now, the Dolphins still looking for more of that. But a win here today could be a big one for this women's soccer program, still in search of their first Division II postseason berth.
Huge game, Joe, and for this team, of course, we talked about the highlights earlier from last season's matchup. You're also trying to get revenge from last season's game, that 4-2 loss to Queens. So a big matchup here for the Dolphins, and you're also trying to extend those senior careers as well.
We have kickoff from Dolphins Soccer Park. Ball rolling toward the far sideline, and the Knights will throw. We mentioned it during the pregame. The Dolphins coming off a 10-goal performance on Wednesday against Lincoln. It was a CSI Division II record, as what looked to be a long strike attempt was blocked. Possession remains with Queens as they play it toward the corner. Giving chase toward it was Schreffler, but she runs out of room. And the Dolphins will have a goal kick. But, Nick, not only was the 10-goal performance the best in the Division II history of the program, it was among the best of all time. Didn't quite make it to the top of that list. The all-time record for CSI, goals in a game, 14. Many of those record-setting performances in terms of goal scoring coming against the CUNYAC as a Division III program, but no Division II scoring performance better than what we saw on Wednesday.
Yeah, and Joe, it was funny because I, messaged you. Obviously, I wasn't here on Wednesday, and I had to message you initially. I think to myself, was that a typo? Did I see 10-0 in that score final? And I wasn't the only one that saw it. I saw a bunch of people on social media commenting the exact same thing. Was this a typo? Did we actually score 10 goals? It was an incredible performance from CSI on Wednesday. And you know how many times I like to talk about momentum, Joe? It really gives you a great shot here, coming off of that performance, try to come out top with the victory.
There's a good, strong challenge there to deny what may have been a goal-scoring chance brewing. That was Mia Cole with the strong tackle, and now the Dolphins hope to counter through the midfield. Cirinelli looking toward the near side, does find Cole over the midfield logo. Cole tried to put the brakes on, but she was dispossessed by Harden. And now the Knights move into the attacking third. Schreffler gains a step on O'Donnell, but O'Donnell had the angle. Her attempted challenge comes up empty. Ball played toward the top of the 18 where Serenelli is waiting. Serenelli out to Urick. Urick circles back toward the center of the pitch. This is Thompson. And now Cole. And Nick, speaking of high goal scoring efforts, this is straight out of the memory bank. The highest scoring women's soccer game that I can recall us calling, in recent memory anyway, was a 4-3 Dominican University of New York win over CSI. That is the highest game in terms of goal scoring that I can recall. But I'd have to go back. The memory bank usually serves pretty well when it comes to games that we've called. I have almost instant recollection of many. It's kind of,
well, we've seen a lot of
crazy.
We've seen a lot of high-scoring games in multi-sports the last couple of, basically the last year. It feels like I was gonna say the last 2 years, 3 years. Basically, the last year we've seen a lot of high-scoring games in a lot of sports.
We touched on it during the pregame ahead of the matchup with Lincoln. The last time that the team had scored 4 goals or more was against Bloomfield. I think that was a season opener, or at least a home opener. That was a couple of years back. Dolphins were undefeated through late September that year. They had possession briefly in the attacking third, but the Knights control and look to work through the midfield. Melgar plays it up the far side. Kinney receives that pass, but was defended closely and coughed it up over the sideline. Last touched by the Dolphins. Quick throw taken up toward the corner. Hammond there defensively for CSI. Kinney looking to work inside and had it knocked away. Now Urick with it, entering the midfield, wants Gardner, and Gardner did get a foot on it but couldn't control. Harden trying to work through Thompson and Cole, stumbles over the ball. Dolphins do a good job to crowd her space. Goycochea had her pass intercepted by Cole. Cole moves toward the center of the pitch, looking ahead, running out of time, and gives it away. Melgar there. Working toward the corner of the box. Had to circle back. Dolphins there defensively. Good ball in front, too long for Schreffler, but if she makes contact with that one, she's in prime scoring position.
Yeah, and how many times have we talked about over the years trying to get in, get yourself in position to set yourself up with a goal opportunity. And we've seen that a bunch throughout the season for both the men and the women. And early on for Queens, trying to set themselves up for a shot, but as you mentioned, just goes wide.
I think a big storyline for much of this season, we've seen it on more than one occasion, but I think the big question mark hasn't really been can they get chances. It's been can they finish, and that's been for both teams. We've seen it at times, opportunities in front that you would expect to convert more often than not, and when the chances are limited and those opportunities are not converted, they loom very large. Meanwhile, the Dolphins in possession, moving up the far side, but that long ball will find the Knights goalkeeper, Samantha Hines-Hirsch. She scoops it up, and that's her first touch.
We talked about the stats from that game on Wednesday, too. You had the 26 shots, 13 of those on goal. So Dolphins saw a lot of them on Wednesday. Very tough to duplicate what you did on Wednesday and today, but with the importance of this game being a conference game, the Dolphins would love to have some of those chances that they had on Wednesday here in this game today.
And we say it all the time, Nick, but I think a huge part of the equation is score first. That ball played up toward Urick, but waiting there was Anjuli. Tavansis, short pass, was able to connect with Keebles. Keebles could not get past Schlee, but Schlee was last to touch it. Quick throw. Schreffler looked to play it into the box. It is controlled there, but the Dolphins in good position defensively. O'Donnell tried to send it over the sideline, but instead, the Dolphins will concede the first Knights corner of the match.
And something that we also like to emphasize in these games, Joe, is also the time and possession for some of these teams, because you get to a point where if you're backed up and playing backwards, then that's going to really hurt you at some point during these games. So time and possession is always a big factor into these games that we cover for the majority of the season.
Short throw toward the edge of the 18. Both teams jockeying for possession here. And we have a whistle and a foul against Queens. Mia Cole very strong over the ball. Tough to win it from her one-on-one. Scored her first goal as a Dolphin in the win on Wednesday. Bit of an unorthodox score as well. Came face to face with the goalkeeper and was still able to chip it over. It's not often you see one chipped over the keeper from where Cole was able to score from. Dolphins now moving through the midfield with some momentum on the attack. Asola plays it up the far side. Cirinelli is there. Cirinelli toward the center of the pitch. Urick redirects. Gardner was in the area. Urick finds Thompson. They don't give her a lane to shoot. Knights know how dangerous Thompson can be. That pass for Cole was intercepted, redirected toward Schreffler, but Dolphins do well to get there first. O'Donnell over to Cirinelli, far side. Cirinelli looking to play it long toward the top of the box. Gardner, the nearest attacker. Not sure the Knights needed to head that one, but they do, and it will roll over the far side.
And just that last minute alone, Joe, Dolphins showing some signs of momentum with their passing ability there, got themselves into great positioning as well. So good sight to see. We'll see if they can try to put something on goal and try to set up a shot opportunity.
Jillian Gardner heads off, gets a nice ovation on senior day. Player who came back from injury, made her season debut earlier this week, as that ball from Urick could not reach Rodriguez. Dolphins applying some good pressure there, but Keebler is able to come away with possession. O'Donnell waiting in the back to meet that ball. Plays it toward the far side. Hammond taking her time, surveys. Connects with Urick, who finds Cirinelli. Touched by Cirinelli, a bit strong. It ends up on the foot of Thompson. Thompson took a chance there. It did not pay off, and now the Knights moving through the midfield with some speed. Schreffler the target on that ball. Charsky makes a nice play there to direct it. Yeah, she directed it around Schreffler to herself. Knights control once again, just outside the attacking third. Nobody home on that pass. Hammond. She also scored in the win over Lincoln on Wednesday. That ball played with the body in the back. And through the midfield come the Knights. Schlee there. There's a good strong challenge. Ball on the foot of Charsky again. Just about 10 minutes gone by in the first half. Still looking for our first shot on goal. The Knights came the closest on a long ball played in deep, and they could not turn it into a shot. The ball just a bit too far ahead. And now the Dolphins looking for an opportunity. This is Rodriguez, thought about turning, instead gives it up to Cole. Cole looked to have attempted a shot. Didn't get much on it. It was blocked on the way in. There's a lot of contact there and a foul, which will earn the Dolphins a free kick. Center of the pitch, a bit outside the attacking third, but good position. And we'll see if the Dolphins can make something of a set piece.
Some nice intensity as well the last couple minutes too. And you're going to see that a lot throughout the remainder of this game. You mentioned just 10 minutes in, but with the importance of this game, the intensity is certainly going to pick up as this game progresses.
O'Donnell and Thompson lined up over the ball. Thompson certainly capable of putting one on goal from here. See if that's what she looks to do in this spot. Free kick on the way. And that had a lot on it. Did miss by much, Nick. We'll get a look from in a bit tighter, but that was a good attempt by Thompson.
Yeah, it certainly was, Joe. And we'll look here on the close-up replay towards the goal towards our left, and you see it just goes towards the left, but it had a lot of velocity on it for sure.
She got all of that strike just a bit off to the left. And if the Knights weren't aware of how dangerous her right leg can be, they are now. Queens working through the midfield. Tavance is able to keep it, nearly dispossessed. It's Melger now toward the far side. Serenelli there defensively. Quick move to the inside, and a long shot skips into the arms of Brianna Dorr. Believe that was Lekanitas on the attempt. Always tough to make out those digits on the far side. I've gotten a lot of ocular exercise calling these games. And if you had that line on your bingo card for the broadcast,
No
Nick,
way.
congratulations.
No way. Well, we used to have the binoculars for certain events, trying to figure out numbers for baseball and sometimes here at soccer. So, don't have those anymore.
I think they're still in my car.
Oh, are they?
I think so.
We don't need them. We're professionals at this point.
Well, I'd agree that we're professionals. I might not agree that we don't need them. In fact, now at halftime, I might have to take a trip to the parking lot.
Okay.
Don't move your car, though. You'll lose your spot.
It is. Yeah.
It is a packed
It is
house.
very packed.
Good senior day crowd here at Dolphin Soccer Park. You couldn't ask for better weather. And generally speaking, the weather this season has been phenomenal. The
Yeah.
worst weather we've had was the game that I missed.
Coincidence?
And it was pouring that morning
Yeah.
in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, as I called the game from my hotel room. I was probably about 2 hours and 15 minutes away.
I'm not going to lie, after the game we called last night, I was a bit worried that it was going to be cold today, but thankfully it's not.
Well, Nick and I are also the voices of many other athletic programs, not at the collegiate level, but we had a high school football game last night. We were transplanted from outdoors in the bleachers into the press box midway through the first quarter, and when we returned outside about 2 or 3 hours later, the temperature had dropped at least 20 or 30 degrees.
Yeah.
So if that was any sign of things to come today, would have been less than ideal, but it is a beautiful Saturday afternoon on Staten Island.
I'm still wondering how we didn't unplug anything from our
Wow.
laptop and mixer. A miracle, honestly.
Hey, I believe in the miraculous, that's for sure. That one played long into the box off the free kick, and now the Knights trying a shot. It's headed in front, dangerous spot there, and just getting a foot on it was Hammond. That's enough to disrupt the attack for now. Melger makes a move, center of the pitch. She shoots high and wide. And some precarious moments there for the Dolphins result in a shot off target and a CSI goal kick.
Yeah, you'll see right here on that shot, it was headed by a Dolphin defender and almost got repositioned to a point where maybe Queens could get a second shot opportunity, but to no avail. So big sigh of relief for the Dolphins right there.
Just shy of 15 minutes gone by in the first half. No score between the Dolphins and Knights. It is a big game for both sides, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast. I think it's a bit bigger for the Dolphins. A couple of points behind in the standings, both teams with the same number of conference games played. A really big game on the schedule for the Dolphins today in terms of playoffs is the matchup between D'Youville and Stack. Dolphins certainly pulling for the Spartans in that one, as they've already beaten them, and a win by the Spartans in that game, which would be their first in conference play, that could really shake up the standings and make things very interesting down the stretch.
Always want to put yourself into position at the point of the season, Joe, where you could play for your opportunity to win.
If memory serves me correctly, Queens and Stack played to a draw. I think it was a 1-1 draw from my notes yesterday. I'm getting the nod. The memory bank cashes in again.
And looking now at the schedule, I believe that game that we talked about earlier with Stack and D'Youville, that game kicks off at 3. So during the men's game, we'll be able to have an opportunity to monitor what the score of that game is.
So the women's game between Stack and Queens,
At least
or
on the-
Stack and
That's what I'm-
D'Youville is at 3?
That's what I'm looking at on the ECC website.
My guess is in Buffalo they push it back to give the traveling team some more time.
Yeah.
My question would be then, is the men's game first, or are they going back-to-back at 3 and 5:30?
I will double check for you.
Yeah, your internet connectivity might be a bit better than mine, though I think I've just found out the reason, Nick. Looks like I had my VPN active. That would explain why my connection was so poor. Meanwhile, a chance brewing here for Queens, but that shot travels high and wide, well off the mark. And the Dolphins will have another goal kick with 28 minutes to go in the half. Let's see if that makes my connection any better.
So the women's game is at 3. I'm going to double check the men's game as well.
Dolphins working in the midfield as the Knights apply some pressure. Cirinelli does have some space, closed quickly, and she sends it to the Knights' backs.
So the men's game is right now at 12.
Okay, so the
they're
men
playing
are up first.
The women are playing second.
Got it.
So they'll be able to monitor what's going on in this game. That being the Deauville women's team.
If the Saints win and the Dolphins lose, that would be huge for the Saints because the Dolphins right now are tied with them in the standings. However, there is the tiebreaker that favors Deauville.
Right.
And those tiebreakers certainly matter plenty.
You and I love talking about tiebreakers from all of our experience over the years.
Not quite.
Maybe I'm speaking for myself.
To be fair, though, as that is a takeaway for Queens, dangerous moment here for the Dolphins. But Charsky clears, and you said it, Nick, the flag was up.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, when it comes to collegiate athletics, the East Coast Conference does a great job in giving us all of the tiebreaker
those
information.
tiebreakers are good.
Yes.
Other
very,
tiebreakers we've
very,
had.
very detailed documents that the ECC has online.
Yes.
With the tie-breaking procedures, and at the end of each season, if there is any question about what needs to be done, they send us a full breakdown of every possible outcome. Should a team win? Should a team lose? Should a team draw? They do a great job.
Because we had that scenario, obviously no draws in basketball, but we had that for the men's basketball team last year, trying to figure out exactly where they could get as high to in terms of seeding and where they could fall to in terms of seeding as well.
It's hard to believe, Nick, speaking of basketball, that
we're right around the corner.
We're right around the corner as the Knights may have a chance here. And that shot is over the bar high. Big opportunity there for Keebles. She was in the middle of the pitch. Plenty of room to get everything behind that strike, and she sent it just a bit high.
Yeah, you'll see right here. First, the pass attempt. Good opportunity here for Queens. They set the shot up, and as you mentioned, just high towards the right side of our camera view of the netting. So, big shot. And once again, for Queens, it's something that we talked about earlier. You know, these teams get shots, opportunities, but getting them on net is the biggest thing for these teams trying to get the goals. As here comes the takeaway for the Dolphins.
Cirinelli looking to win a foot race, and she tried to center it into the middle of the pitch. Couldn't do it, but a good effort from Cirinelli. And Heinz Hirsch will control. But Nick, you and I have worked many other events where the tie-breaking procedures weren't detailed quite as clearly.
Yes.
And that makes for a lot of confusion. That puts it mildly. To the point I was making before as well, not only is basketball right around the corner, but our final broadcast of the soccer season is Wednesday.
Yeah.
At least our final home broadcast. For me, there is definitely a possibility that I'll cover the games at Damon on our YouTube channel with an audio-only broadcast. If the Dolphins have a mathematical chance of making the postseason, I expect to be there for those games. That is right now largely dependent on the status of our client from last night, Old Bridge High School. If they're in the postseason and play on Halloween, which would be Friday the 31st, covering those games on Saturday might not be possible.
Right.
So there's a lot of moving parts involved with our coverage of that season finale, but I'm hoping to be there.
This, of course, our busiest time of the year. But no place I'd rather be.
Schedule, generally speaking, is that ball intended for Keebles through, ends up in the arms of Dorr. Generally speaking, the schedule this year played out really well. You know, if there are any conflicts, I make it work for CSI first and then go from there. But there weren't too many conflicts this year, which was nice. I can't say that about the last couple of seasons. There were quite a few.
Mm-hmm.
I think 2 years ago I missed at least 3 games.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah, I think we started, well, I think last year was the first year, if I'm not mistaken, we started experimenting with the you broadcasting via remote?
Well, I can tell you right now there are 2 dates we're looking at for the entire season remote. The rest should be good.
Those
And-
for baseball? Or
No, basketball.
Oh, basketball.
Those 2 dates are going to be December 30th and January 2nd.
Okay.
Yeah, during the holiday recess, I will not be here. So we can cover those games remotely. Those are always very interesting broadcasts.
Yeah.
It's a bit awkward for me, but I
How
think
much is the delay from you watching it to where we are?
between 3 and 5 seconds.
Okay.
So it's not bad, and your audio in my headset is not delayed at all.
Okay.
So I'm aware of what's happening, or in my case, what's about to happen.
Is that what happened with us at baseball too last year? Was it like 3 or 5 seconds delayed for you, but the audio was still good?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's not bad then.
Yeah, I think with the quality of our internet here, we can probably step up my video quality as well. We typically push my feed in very low resolution as the Dolphins appear to be in control of possession in the midfield, gave it away. Keebla's short pass for Melger. Up the middle, Harden. And
Flag
the
should be
flag is
going up,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, no question about that one. As we've crossed the midway point here in the first half, 21:45 on the clock. But, yeah, Nick, I'm about in the range of 3 to 5 seconds on the
Okay.
delay. I think we've cut it down in the past as low as 2, maybe 3. When you called softball from the field and I was in the office, that delay was 2 or 3 seconds max. It did not extend to 5 seconds.
And it was assuming, I mean, I shouldn't even ask it because you were in technically the baseball press box, so there really was no delay because you could technically still
Well, yeah,
saw
I
it.
could see the field,
Yeah.
but when I called the game from the office and you were at the field, the delay was no more than 2 or 3 seconds. Ball with the Knights now as they look to work into the attacking third, but Asola is there for the takeaway. O'Donnell moving forward, connects with Asola. Asola working toward the center of the pitch now. Looking far side, and that pass easily intercepted by Lekonidis. Knights give it right back. O'Donnell coming forward, but couldn't control it. And again, Queens fails to connect. I think a couple of those offsides flags could be slowing down their runs just a bit, Nick. They've been in good position twice. Have seen the flag go up both times. Dolphins now work it toward the near side. Charsky connects with Rodriguez. This is Thompson. Thompson looking for Cirinelli, making a run up the far side. That ball takes a nice roll. Cirinelli puts one toward goal, but well wide. And that will draw some applause from the Fanatics.
Always love seeing the Fanatics, right? we love hearing their voices and everything like that.
We love the Fanatics. The thing is, during soccer, we really don't get to see them because our vantage point here in the press box is good in terms of where we are relative to midfield. However, the sheer size of the tabletop keeps us very, very far from the window. You can't really see the near side. You can't see the corners.
Well,
And you have to kind of lean out the window to get a good perspective. Coach Mandoli is taking in the game alongside us. He is hunched forward. He's out the window, swiveling back and forth.
I will say, compared to last season, it's at least nice to hear them compared to where we were last year because
Oh,
we were across
last year-
the whole field from them.
Last year, I preferred that perspective. I thought it was awesome to
Yeah.
call the game from down on the field. The setup is just a no-go.
The setup was,
Yeah, no. We don't need to do that again.
no.
That's kind of like when the commentators call a baseball game from behind the fence in the outfield. That's a one-time thing. You don't want to do that every game.
Does that happen for you?
Well, not us. I'm talking about in the
in general,
pros.
Yeah.
The Knights are moving into the attacking third, denied by the Dolphins once. They'll try again here. Ball on the foot of Harden. Harden sends one into the box. A lot of traffic there as the ball skips toward the corner. Cirinelli there to meet it. Ball met by Melger. Short pass, strong touch, and controlled by the Dolphins. Thompson back to Cirinelli. Hammond into the midfield. Cole there, as is Harden. Rodriguez now battling, still moving forward, but couldn't get to it in time. Lewis was able to find Kadra, and the ball was sent over the near sideline for a Knights throw with 18 minutes to go here in half number 1. With each minute that passes, the shot tally right now in terms of shots on goal, 1-0 in favor of Queens. The game shapes up more and more like a situation where the first goal may win it. This is Cirinelli. She's had the ball on her foot quite a bit in this first half. Now Urich. Back to O'Donnell. She sends one across midfield. Lewis got a foot on it, but Asola is there to meet it. Here comes Schlee. And Schlee wanted Cole. Pass a bit too strong and off to the inside. Urich tracking it down in the midfield, plays it back to O'Donnell. Now Cirinelli along the midfield stripe. This is Thompson. Over to Charsky. Charsky picked up an assist on a beautiful ball in the game on Wednesday. The Knights send that one over the near side. Dolphins will throw. Dolphins substitution, Emily Nagel heading on. Mia Cole heads off. Throw onto the foot of O'Donnell. Now Charsky. Rodriguez got a foot on it. Asola goes down. Thompson fending off a challenge here. Keebles has it, and the Knights have numbers. And that's a good foul if you're O'Donnell.
Yeah.
I think you had to do that. And I'm not sure that Keebles realized that she had another attacker in Adams who was all alone and onside. I think if she looks to play that ball toward the near side, they were going to have a one-on-one with Brianna Dorr.
Yeah, for sure. On that spot right there, Joe. They had 3-on-2, but a good foul by the Dolphins right there. Necessarily a much-needed foul that will set up this free kick upcoming for the Knights.
It's a free kick in a dangerous spot, but I think if you're the Dolphins, you'll take this over the
Yeah.
goal-scoring chance that was developing there. Dolphins had a free kick from a very similar spot, a bit further out off the foot of Caitlin Thompson earlier. I don't know if they gave Cole a shot, but if so, that Thompson attempt was one of 2 Dolphin shots. That one not close. And the Dolphins can exhale. I think that's a good foul they gave in that spot.
Yeah.
And it pays off with the free kick off target. 15 minutes to go in half number 1. Still no score between the Dolphins and the Knights. Asola thought about trying to turn, instead gives it up to Thompson. Now O'Donnell facing some pressure, finds Charsky. Charsky for Cirinelli, who's now working on the near side. Nagel takes over on the opposite wing. This is Schlee. Schlee for Charsky, and back to O'Donnell. O'Donnell takes a couple of steps forward, connects with Rodriguez. Second time that the ball has ricocheted off her foot a bit strongly and into possession of Queens, but that possession doesn't last long as Charsky tracks it down. Cirinelli chips one up in the air, bounces along the sideline, and out of play for a Knights throw.
We saw last year, of course, 6 goals in that highlight reel we saw earlier on. As you mentioned, it might take 1 goal here in this game to potentially decide the winner. Still very early on, though.
I think the team that scores first may look to get a bit more defensive should they manage to put one on the board. We've seen oftentimes these two teams limited in scoring to a goal. And for the Dolphins, I think a lot of the time as well, it has not been for a lack of chances. In terms of shot quantity, there's been an uptick recently. That game definitely helping on Wednesday as that's sent into the box, but through everybody, and Dorr should be able to get to this one. And she'll scoop it up right on the edge of the 18. But as I was saying, Nick, it hasn't necessarily been shot quality because they've had just about every match, one or two of those chances that I'd say more often than not end up a goal. It's been the sheer quantity of shots on the other side in some games that have been problematic. And if you don't convert one or two of those prime chances you have and concede north of 15 shots, it's hard to win. Heinz Hirsch scoops that one up, waves her teammates up the pitch with 12.5 to go here in half number 1. This ball sent through the midfield, headed in the air by Hammond, and out of play for a Knights throw. Knights making a couple of substitutions as well. I think the players on 12 and 13. So Pino and Pellizzeri.
19.
So close. Carly Kaprowski.
You got the one right.
Yeah, Kaprowski the second. And I should know better, Nick. With the white jerseys and dark numbers, I should be able to make those out. Years of a headset on my head, whether it's a gaming headset or a broadcast headset. There's a good long strike, but
Thank you for clarifying the two headsets.
it was heading a bit wide of the frame. Well, the point is, I've only been broadcasting for 10 years. I've been gaming for close to 20. I think I put on the chat headset for the first time at 13. So I'll be 33 in April of next year. We all know my fondness for the number 33.
Yes.
Big year coming up. Big year.
Do we have a game on your birthday?
I think we've had a game on my birthday every year for the last 3 seasons.
Okay.
Or at least 3 out of the last 4. Now, whether or not the crew knew it was my birthday, that's a negative. That's a negative. You figured it out last year.
Yeah.
I don't know how you figured it out.
I forgot how. Someone told me, I think.
Somebody figured it out and
Yeah.
spread the word. But we had a triple header on my birthday last year.
Oh, right.
Now, do we have a game on your birthday in December? I don't believe so.
Don't think so.
I think we have a road contest the 6th, and there would be a game on the 9th, but you're the 8th, right?
27th.
27th. Where did I get the 8th from?
Don't know. All I know is that I had work the next day and I took off. I was not working the day after.
Why not?
I don't want to wake up at 6 a.m. to go to work.
6? Oh, Jets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there ever a good time to wake up and work a Jets game?
No. Now I'm trying to get tomorrow.
Yeah, that is true. You will be there.
I will be there.
You'll have to visit us during our tailgate.
I'll find a way to. I'll have some free time.
That'll be November 30th.
You guys just text me when you're there, and I can figure it out.
We'll do. We'll do. We have to see if we can connect with now former colleague of ours, Andrew Rotundo.
Now we put the former in his name.
Yeah, he's a former colleague. Though it technically has not been a year since his last game worked.
Yeah,
So we can give him the benefit of the doubt until a year has passed.
Right. I don't remember what day of basketball it was, but it's gonna be during the basketball season when that clock's ticking.
Yeah. He hasn't worked a soccer match in many years.
Yeah.
The Knights now have a chance developing here off the takeaway. And that one sent in front is grabbed by Dorr.
And Joe, you'll see how big of a play that was by Dorr, because if she doesn't grab it, they had a chance to redirect it and get the shot in for a goal.
Dorr extending toward the top of the goalkeeping box there and able to snag that one out of the air. Cernelli was there defensively as well, but you never know what kind of bounce that ball will take if your goalkeeper's not sure-handed. That's a big one. The Knights on the move again into the attacking third. Nagel with a strong challenge from behind. Dolphins had it briefly, but again, Queens will look to build this time from the corner. A lot of Knights making their way into the 18 as that skips into the arms of Dorr again.
And that undoubtedly, that shot from before is, even though it's not on goal, it's by far the best chance either team has had so far in this game.
For the Dolphins, their best opportunity came on the Thompson free kick. And you're right, Nick, I think in terms of opportunities outside of a set piece, that was the best for either team. But you could make the case that long ball early in the game that was about a foot too long would have resulted in what, by my estimation, is as close to a sure thing as it gets. Dolphins now working up the near side. Serenelli for Asola. Asola avoids a challenge, moving up the center of the pitch, trying to keep it on her foot. Rodriguez comes in to help. Got it away. Urich dispossessed on a nice tackle by Harden. And the Knights control it in the back. Ball sent to the near side. Here comes Queens again. Rosenberger across midfield, has some room. Makes the short pass and connects with Kadra. Queens again working from the edge of the 18. Short pass back, chance for a shot. And that was blocked on the way in by O'Donnell. And she is able to clear it.
Another great block today by the Dolphins. But Queens setting up again here, Joe.
And that will bounce harmlessly into the arms of Dorr. Just over 6.5 minutes to go here in half number one. Still no score between the Dolphins and the Knights. I mentioned it before. The Knights have been starved for scoring. They've scored multiple goals just once this year. They have been shut out in 6 matches, and their last 2 have been 1-1 draws. One of those against number 9 Assumption. That was on Tuesday. Ball skips up the far side. Queens waiting for it in the back. Lakanitas will let it roll, and Knights will throw. Under 6 minutes to go in the first half. Queens working up the far side. Short, quick passing here. A longer ball sent through the midfield. Off the foot of O'Donnell. Big collision with Keebler as the Knights continue to control in the attacking third. Ball played toward the center of the pitch. Harden moving in. Shot. Punched high by Dorr and over. Big stop by Brianna Dorr. Nick, initially I thought she may have punched it into the bar and back down, but it takes the good Dolphins bounce up and over the iron.
And you'll see right here, Joe, she really had to wait for a second to get that punch out because she was trying to time the shot. You mentioned it almost looked like maybe it was going to get punched into the net, but timed it just perfectly at the right spot to get it over the crossbar.
That is a well-timed leap, and she needed it on that shot attempt. Another corner kick upcoming for Queens. Looks like Kadra is set to take it. Headed out of the box by CSI, but tracked down by Queens. There's a long strike toward goal, just over.
Look out.
Wow. That one from a long way out and off the foot. I don't think anyone expected that to be too dangerous, but it didn't miss by much, Nick.
Yeah, Dorr again having to try to wait and see where that ball was going to go, and thankfully it went to the left side of the goal.
That was a big-time stop by Brianna Dorr in a match the Dolphins have to have. Dolphins looking for their first real scoring chance. Their best opportunity came on the Thompson free kick, and they haven't had much since. Serenelli into the midfield. Urich plays it with the head. Comes down on the foot of Kadra. Quick move by Rosenberger into space. And the flag is up, no doubt about it. I said it before, Nick. You get flagged for those enough,
Yeah.
may slow down those runs a little bit. And I misspoke before. It was not Keebler making a move up the side. That was Kaprowski. From here, Nick, that 9 looks a lot like a 0. Got me.
Happens to the best
I
of
have
us.
to admit, though, the white numbers on the dark uniform are the easiest. Urick jockeying for position, well defended by Anjuli, and Urick still made it interesting
Yeah.
as Heinz Hirsch cleared it away. Rebounds toward the far side. Last touched by Queens. 2:40 to go in the half. Throw taken quickly by the Dolphins. Kovalenko, who just checked in, looked to play it. She got into the goal column on Wednesday as well. Schlee with harassing defense there forces the Knights to spill it over the far side. How many times, Nick, have we seen a goal in the last 2 minutes of a half this year?
It's happened quite a bit.
First and second half, men's and women's soccer. It seems like these minutes always yield something. Both sides hoping that a tally goes their way. Karina Vasquez in the game as well. Ball on her foot now. Thompson couldn't control. Immediately was met with resistance as she received that ball. Thompson lost it, but Hammond was able to break up a couple of Knights passes, and Kovalenko now along the midfield stripe looking for some room. Has to retreat a bit. Now Hammond sends it a long way up toward Urick. Headed back toward the midfield. And the Knights control in front of the CSI bench. Quick give and go. And the Knights do keep it in along the touchline. Long ball up the pitch. And that play was onside. But again, the ball sent over the sideline, close to the corner. 1:10 to go in the first half. The Knights hoping for one last opportunity. Rosenberger had it knocked away from behind by Serenelli. Final minute of the half. Dangerous passes there. Dolphins seemed unsure of what they wanted to do with it as Dorr gets on top of that ball. 47 seconds to go in the half.
And sometimes we've seen that from both sides here, Joe, where that goal happens because maybe of a bad turnover, and the Dolphins almost gave that one up right there. But good positioning for them, and Dorr was able to go down on the ball, and now with 30 seconds left, we'll see if CSI can maybe get something before the half.
Uncertainty, never a good thing. It becomes increasingly problematic as you move closer to your own goal. Knights couldn't keep that one in the field of play, and that may do it for the first half. 15 seconds to go. Dorr will wave the Dolphins up the pitch. And with that, first half will come to a close. No score between Queens College and the College of Staten Island in this a very big late season East Coast Conference match. 45 minutes in the books from Dolphin Soccer Park. No score between Queens and Staten Island. We throw it to a break and a message from the great sponsors of Flow College when we come back, the second half from the College of Staten Island.
and we've probably learned more from him than he's learned from us.
I think they're a real important part in my life. I can't describe it. It feels amazing.
Team Impact is a national nonprofit that connects kids living with serious and chronic illness with college athletic teams, forming lifelong bonds and life-changing outcomes.
Give me a break it! Break it! Can I have a hug? What's your favorite subject?
Math.
When you spread the word about Team Impact, you have the power to change lives.
Campuses nationwide, the NCAA is making transformative changes for student athletes. While they pursue their biggest dreams, we're launching new initiatives to help them. Life-changing education opportunities are just the start. The NCAA is providing enhanced mental health services. We're guaranteeing scholarships and tuition and expanding access to healthcare. Visit ncaa.org/change to learn more.
Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Campuses nationwide, the NCAA is making transformative changes for student athletes. While they pursue their biggest dreams, we're launching new initiatives to help them. Life-changing education opportunities are just the start. The NCAA is providing enhanced mental health services. We're guaranteeing scholarships and tuition and expanding access to healthcare. Visit ncaa.org/change to learn more.
Team Impact, we pair kids who have been sidelined by serious illness and disability with college teams from across the country.
What's up, big man? You good?
It's more than a single-day meet and greet or photo opportunity. Our program places kids on a multi-year journey, becoming true members of a collegiate athletics team.
We are
Penn State.
From signing day to game day.
I can't describe it. It feels amazing.
Team Impact. All in, all together.
If you want to win in every arena of college life, go D2. Make it yours.
That's a timeout on betting. It completely changed the game, and you didn't even notice. Let me break it down for you. Betting ads are applying full court pressure and getting you to play the game. Many of you are falling for it and losing big money. Addiction is happening in some more than others. Now players are getting harassed by bettors. And we all know that's not how the game is won. So it's on us to be good teammates and draw the line to stay ahead of betting consequences.
NCAA athletes don't just compete, they make history. Representing our nation with pride and excellence, they bring home the hardware. Our college campuses serve as training grounds for the next generation of stars. Catch tomorrow's Olympians and Paralympians on the NCAA Championship stage today.
The NCAA sponsors 90 national championships each year, none of which could happen without officials. There is an urgent need for sports officials across the country, as they are retiring 4 times faster than they are coming in, leaving shortages at all levels of sport. The NCAA recognizes the importance of officiating on the student-athlete experience and is dedicated to the recruitment and retention of new officials for all sports. There are many great reasons to become an official. Stay in shape and get paid to do so. Meet new people and build relationships within a tight-knit community. Give back to the sport you love by creating a fair atmosphere and upholding the integrity of the game. Say yes to officiating. Visit ncaa.org/say yes to officiating for more information on how to get started.
Sports fans. We pack stadiums, arenas, and local gyms every day. And every sports fan is uniquely human. Seeing each play with your own eyes, triggering your own emotions. And as humans, we won't agree on every call, but we can act with empathy and consideration. So put yourself in the official shoes. Be more than a fan. Be officially human.
NCAA athletes don't just compete, they make history. Representing our nation with pride and excellence, they bring home the hardware. Our college campuses serve as training grounds for the next generation of stars. Catch tomorrow's Olympians and Paralympians on the NCAA Championship stage today.
Joe Foreman and Nicholas Bavona back with you from Dolphin Soccer Park, where we have 45 minutes on the clock as we are just getting set to begin half number 2 in this East Coast Conference matchup between the College of Staten Island Dolphins and the Queens College Knights. And Nick, the Knights possessed the ball for much of that first half, applied a lot of attacking pressure, 4 shots on goal. They had a couple of corner kicks in the half, but did not score. And we said it during half number 1, this really was shaping up as a game where the first goal very well could decide it. And I think that still holds true as we begin the second half. The Dolphins have to find a way to generate some more chances.
Yeah, not many chances for the Dolphins in that first half, Joe. But as you mentioned, the Dolphins still score, and the Knights still scoreless going into the second half. And as we talked about it earlier, too, as you just pointed out also, that this first goal, more than likely, could be the deciding factor in this scheme with the way these two teams have been playing. A back-and-forth defensive affair between the two teams right now, where that first goal could be the deciding factor on who wins this scheme and who puts themselves in a greater opportunity after today's game to potentially get into the postseason.
That is a big part of this equation, Nick. The winner of this game has a very good chance to make the playoffs. If the Knights win, I think they would almost lock it up. I don't know if it would be a mathematical clinching yet, but they'd be awfully close. If the Dolphins win it, there would still be some work left to be done. However, they would be in the driver's seat the rest of the way as we have kickoff for the second half. The Dolphins possess it first, working out of their own end. It is Charsky into the midfield, finding Serenelli just beyond the midfield stripe, right back to Charsky. Ball sent off the body of Uric. She had hoped to turn, instead plays it toward the sideline. Serenelli avoids a challenge. Now Asola back to Charsky. She finds Hammond on the near side. Hammond short pass easily intercepted by Melger. Short pass onto the foot of Keebles. Iliano back to Melger. Another short pass, this time Goikachea. Lakanitas had her pass met by Schlee and cleared away. And Julie waiting for it just beyond the midfield stripe. Plays it toward the center of the pitch for Lewis. Rosenberger working across midfield along the far side. Strong pass. And Charsky just got a piece of it. O'Donnell up ahead for Mia Cole. Cole for Serenelli. Serenelli back toward Cole. Cole getting a piece, connects with Uric. Uric with the head. And Cole very nearly able to take possession of that one. And now Cirinelli with the takeaway and ensuing shot. A bit wide of the frame, but the Dolphins applying some good pressure early. Ball punted across midfield by Heinz Hirsch. It rolls down toward the corner. O'Donnell giving chase, runs out of room, and the Dolphins will throw. Charsky to throw. Put some extra on that one, and immediately it is sent over the touchline by Isola.
Sure, our viewers at home can see the American flag in the background. Very nice setting we have here today at CSI.
A big FDNY event on campus today. I think they're honoring one of New York's bravest. Over in 1R, the building completely closed today. Have to admit, when I was told it was going to be a madhouse on campus, I expected a bit worse. But I think if you're taking a right turn on the way in,
Yeah.
you're good.
Yeah.
Takeaway there for the Knights. Cole drew a foul, and possession will stay with the Dolphins.
I started the second half so far, Joe, just about 3 minutes in. The Dolphins are controlling the time possession and are trying to set something up here.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth, Nick. After a first half where the Knights dominated possession, CSI has applied some good pressure, has generated a couple of takeaways, and they've had the ball in their control for a bit more time early in the second half than we saw for much of the first half. O'Donnell and Thompson lined up over the ball. Thompson attempted a shot on a CSI free kick during the first half. And she will try again here, a bit high. Two Dolphin shots in this game. You could make the case 3, as Cole may have been credited with one. Cirinelli was credited with a shot as well. That came earlier in the second half, but in the first half, the Dolphins officially credited with one shot. For Thompson, that is her second. Just over 4 minutes gone by in half number 2. Cole almost able to play that one into space. O'Donnell, short pass, gets through Schlee, excuse me, onto the body of Cirinelli. Now Charsky back to O'Donnell. She faced some pressure. Thompson didn't connect cleanly with that ball. Now Melger circles back toward the midfield logo. Looking to play an attacker through, but Tavansis couldn't get to that ball. Dorr. Didn't get much on that one. The Knights controlling the attacking third. Ball played back to Melger. Melger avoids the challenge from Thompson, working toward the top of the 18, and her shot is saved by Dorr.
The stop on the day for Dorr. That's the now official 5th shot on goal today for the Knights.
Ball played into the midfield by Dorr, and it pinballs around and rolls toward the other end of the pitch. Turn up the field there for Lekanidis. She plays it back to Heinz Hirsch. Hammond got a piece.
Look
and
out.
There's a souvenir. Is
Or
that
not.
one out of the bleachers?
That's not a souvenir, Joe.
Is that a souvenir or some roadkill? I don't know if that one came back. Did it?
I don't think it did.
I don't think it did. I think it bounced over.
It took a wicked bounce off the bleacher.
Yeah, I think it bounced over. Chance here for the Knights, just wide. As we tried to find that ball, Rosenberger wasted no time. And she put one just wide of that far post. Big threat there for the Knights. Comes up just a bit wide.
You'll see how just wide it was. Not by much, Joe.
To be fair, from our vantage point, it looks a bit closer than it probably was, given the reaction of the Dolphins. I don't think it was as close as it appeared. Once we have a second 4K camera, I think we're going to have a bit of a better look at those. Our main camera definitely has a noticeable uptick in the picture quality. We have one on the way. Still waiting for that order to arrive, but it's on the way. Lekanetis had that attempted pass, I believe, deflected. Door there to secure it. O'Donnell toward Castro. Back to O'Donnell. Serenelli in the midfield. Working toward the center of the pitch, connects with Urick. Cole couldn't get there, but Urick controls. Pair of Knights forcing her to cough that ball up. 7.5 minutes gone by here in half number 2. Here come the Knights. Perhaps too much on that ball, and they will indeed run out of room. Goal kick, Staten Island. Played short to O'Donnell. Now Charsky. Connects with Serenelli. Ball toward Cole over her head. It rolls on to the foot of Lekanetis. Lewis. Short pass was for Anjuli. Now Melgar, weaving through a couple of Dolphins, had to give it up. Tavansis up the sideline for Rosenberger. Rosenberger being forced into retreat by Serenelli. Now Thompson with it. Space running out for Serenelli, who's taken down. And not sure the Knights had to commit a foul there, but they did. And the Dolphins earn a free kick. Charsky will line up to take it from right in front of the CSI bench. Ball sent into the attacking third. Cole does a good job to fend off a pair of challenges. Now Serenelli toward the corner. A lot of contact there from Rosenberger. Play on, says the official. Knights hoping for a quick counter here. They do have some numbers, and a ball played through. Keebles lost it as O'Donnell was tripped up.
Yeah, she made an initial good move, but as you mentioned, she just lost it, and that was the difference maker right there. That could have been a shot opportunity for Queens for sure on that one.
I think both players understood the urgency of that situation and got moving a bit too quickly. One with the ball, one without. Here come the Knights through the midfield once again. Melgar gets there and is able to play it forward. Keebles now playing an attacker through, and again,
another one.
Another no-doubter with the offsides flag. We've seen that many times already.
I think that's the 4th time today.
It is. Happened. It's the 4th offsides that I can recall. Could be more than that. In the first half, there were 3. So I believe that was the first here in the second half. I'm not a math guy, Nick, but I know that 3 + 1 makes 4. Knights with it now, working into the midfield. Ball played up the far side. There is some room there, but a lot on that pass. And it is kept in, but the Dolphins control. That one either goal kick upcoming or Dolphin possession, and the Dolphins give it away, but not for long. Pass from Melgar, too strong. Hammond for Thompson. Thompson has some room, looking for a passing lane. Urick tried to get it to Serenelli. Serenelli all over Rosenberger. She's running out of room along the touchline. Works back inside. Her pass does connect. She has it right back. And the Dolphins have it back. Thompson for Schlee. Just got that one through. There is some room for Castro now. Ball led her back toward the center of the pitch. This is Cole. Cole wanted to turn toward the corner and couldn't make it. Lacanitas all over her defensively, has possession. O'Donnell with the intercept. Serenelli. Back to Charsky. Charsky for Urick. Urick pressured from behind. Last touched by Charsky. Just shy of 33 minutes to go here in half number 2. Still no score between Queens and Staten Island. Dolphin substitution. Habana Jean-Belay into the game. I believe there are 2 Dolphins who came in, Nick. Unless Cole is just changing positions, and that is the case.
Yeah.
Lewis. Over the head of her intended target. That was Schreffler giving chase. Intercept there by Schlee. Schlee back to O'Donnell. Up toward the sideline for Cole. Cole working toward the middle of the pitch. Melger there defensively has the takeaway. She sends it to the corner. Dangerous attack setting up here for Queens. The cross cleared away by O'Donnell. Tavansis there waiting. And an aggressive tackle by Cole, a good one. And the save is made on the shot that followed by Dorr.
Yeah, that was a very close call there, Joe, because sometimes when you see that play happen, you could get called for the penalty inside the box.
That was an aggressive challenge by Cole. But it paid off. A shot did come from it, but not a quality attempt there. It was on goal, but not much on it. Not much traffic in front of Dorr either. And the Dolphins will look to reset out of their own end. Cole did get it away. Schlee trying to keep it with CSI. Could not. Pass broken up there. Again, the Knights have it, but Charsky is forced to clear over the sideline, and Queens will throw.
Here's that last sequence where we see slide tackle inside the box. No call there, and then the shot attempt right afterwards.
That is one where you cannot afford to make a mistake if you're Cole. Did well to make the tackle without drawing a whistle. Queens on the move again. That shot on target and saved. Off the foot of Lacanitas. And Dorr extends to make the stop.
Another big stop in this game by Dorr, Joe. She's made some great saves. The seniors showing out so far here on senior day.
Big save there for Dorr. You would think the way this game is shaping up, Nick, that the first team to allow a goal will not have a chance for 3 points. It's just been one of those days.
Good defensive battle between these two teams.
Corner on the way. Headed toward the top of the box. Keebless couldn't control, neither can Melger. Jean-Belay does well to get it on her foot. Now Thompson couldn't keep it. Shot blocked on the way in. Keebless now with another attempt, and Dorr makes the save. Dolphins, after losing possession, did not allow for a shooting lane there. At the very least, made it tough. Ahead of that shot, the Knights were left searching for an angle.
And I couldn't tell initially on that shot if maybe it was deflected a bit or redirected because of the angling, but it was a good job of the Dolphins to at least force the shot.
And there was a good ball that very nearly found its mark. Grace Kinney making that run. Dolphins very quickly get it ahead to Castro. Now Urick back to Castro.
Look out.
A lot of contact, and
free kick Dolphins.
Maybe they could have played on there, Nick, just maybe. I think the deciding factor may have been that Jean Belay wasn't facing forward. Cole, short pass, Asola. And now Schlee with a quick pass for Castro. Sola toward the middle of the box, and that one nearly got over where Jean Belay was making a run. The Dolphins trying to keep possession. They will in the midfield. That was a dangerous buildup right there. Dolphins will try again. Urick making a run and couldn't get to the inside. And Nick, that was a very, very similar play to what we saw ahead of Urick's third goal on Wednesday. Made a move to the inside and then put one in the upper 90. Charsky now for Cole. Cole looking for a lane and could not connect with Jean Belay. Come the Knights again. Room for Keebles. Her pass had a lot on it. Kinney has to run, but she gets there. O'Donnell with a good tackle, and I think that's going to be a Dolphins goal kick. It will.
Yeah, she stepped on the line.
A good defensive play there by O'Donnell to force Kinney over the end line. Knights will make a substitution here. That's Schreffler heading off. Rebecca Pino back on. Dolphins lost it. Unforced there, and Queens quickly throws. 26:30 to go here in half number 2. And O'Donnell, with an attempt at a sliding clearance, at least broke up the attack. And Schlee very nearly got there. Goycochea couldn't find her mark with that pass. And Julie sends one toward goal and a bit high. We've seen it a couple of times now from Queens in this one, attempting a long strike, hoping that they can put one of those past door and steal a goal. Charsky for Cole. And over the touchline.
Those are the shots where you have to hold your breath, kind of, because you're waiting to see where the angle of that ball is going to come down.
You never really know where those are going to end up. Dolphins very quickly earn a throw right back. Jean Belay able to switch play toward the near side. The crowd coming to life here. Castro for Urick, a bit off target. Urick had 2 defenders in her immediate vicinity as well. This is Hammond, short pass, Asola. Asola thought about maybe playing Urick through, but perhaps a bit sooner, and they have it because Urick was making the run, had to stop. And once you stop, you lose that opportunity. Hammond, quick pass right back to O'Donnell. Castro out of room, foul called.
Yep.
Free kick, Staten Island.
Now, Joe, I'll bring up the scenario now. It's still early, 25 minutes, or about around 24 minutes. What does a tie do for these two teams in the sense of things?
Well, if you're the Knights, you're perfectly okay with a tie given your position in a playoff spot.
So yellow cards issued.
If you're the Dolphins, a tie is something because you still have hope that maybe Stack can knock off Deauville.
Right.
If they can win, you then have Deauville with 3, the Dolphins with 4, and Stack with 4. The Dolphins have the tiebreaker over Stack. So a draw helps, as that ball is a good one. That shot is wide. How about that off the free kick?
Yeah.
That ball landed right in front of Pino, but she just didn't have a great angle. I'm inclined to say that your odds of the postseason, if you're the Dolphins and you draw, followed by a win by Stack, I'd say your odds are pretty decent. I would say maybe 40 to 50%, because in that scenario, you would need D'Youville not to get any more points if you do not get any more points. You have to finish a point ahead of the Saints.
Right.
And I think you have to look at it in terms of how likely is another point in the last two matches and how likely is another point for D'Youville the rest of the way. D'Youville and Queens have already played. Saints won that game 1-0. In the conference schedule, beyond the game against Stack, as that shot is stopped by Dorr, and that's the second time we've seen a very quickly developing attack. One of them off the free kick, another there off a second free kick. Our internet, Nick, not very good. I was going to pull up what the Saints have left in terms of conference play. You may have an easier time than I would.
I'll double check. I probably could.
But like I said, for the Knights, it is Malloy and Roberts. I actually didn't say that yet, but it's Malloy and Roberts up next for Queens. Don't have the same notes on D'Youville.
So for D'Youville, they have Stack, of course, today. Well, I do need to do one thing, Joe. That's still on the men's schedule because...
Well, the schedule should be identical.
Yeah,
the only difference is UDC is men's only. So discount that, and you can pretty much figure out who's left for the women of D'Youville.
I'll have that in one moment.
Though, to be fair, the Dolphins, men and women, did not play Malloy on the same day, so it's not a guarantee. Here come the Knights again through the midfield, but that pass ends up on the foot of Riley Hammond.
So for D'Youville, they have Stack today. They have Damon, Malloy, and Mercy. So their last 4 games are all conference.
And I think perhaps a bit more importantly than that, all of those teams are near the top of the standings.
Yep.
There's another shot stopped by Dorr. Rebound controlled just in time. Yeah, Nick, Damon, Malloy, and Mercy, you said?
Yep.
1, 2, and 3 in the conference. So there is a very real chance that if D'Youville doesn't come away with a point today, they may not come away with another. You never really know. So the Dolphins definitely have a shot if they draw in this game, but they would need Stack to win outright against D'Youville a bit later. We'll have our eye on that game when those two teams meet coming up next.
Do we do what we did a couple years ago, make a graphic with the score updates?
We could do that. We could. Meanwhile, the Knights, hoping to make the point regarding a draw moot here. They've applied a lot of attacking pressure these last few minutes. Dolphins clear it away, but couldn't get it over the sideline. Lekanitas moving in, avoids Thompson, and Hammond clears it away.
Much needed clear right there, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, this is completely mental math on my part, Nick. If the Dolphins were to win this game, I would put their odds of the postseason somewhere around, I'd say 65%, like 2 out of 3.
Okay.
I'd say 2 out of 3. If they draw, I would put it between 40 and 50. Maybe a little closer to 50. I'd say 50-50. Because if the Dolphins win, or I should say if the Dolphins draw and D'Youville does not come away with a point, I think the way the Saints have played this year, there's definitely a chance they take a point out of one of those last 3 matches. To come away with nothing in 3 matches, I think I'd be mildly surprised if that happened. I think they'll be able to pick up another point. I think the much easier path is to win, and then you'll actually be 2 points up on Queens, not 1. So that really puts you in a great spot. I think I mistakenly said 1 earlier. If they won, they would be up 2 points on Queens, not 1. And that makes a big difference, because then the Knights would need 3 to pass you, and at this point in the season, that's probably going to require another win. In fact, it definitely would, because they would only have 2 conference games left. So neither team can really afford to lose this game. a loss would be a backbreaker for either side. A draw, I think, gives both sides.
Right. It's not necessarily the worst thing.
Yeah, I think the Dolphins probably still need to win. You can't count on another team to win for you. I think that's always a really bad spot.
You want to put the position, you want to control your destiny.
Exactly. You do not want to be scoreboard watching at 3 o'clock.
Right.
But if it does come to that, Stack could give the Dolphins some much-needed help. Meanwhile, it's another Queens free kick, and we've seen a couple of these turn into goal-scoring chances already. Serenelli got ahead on that one. The Knights waiting for it to come down. Kadra plays it toward the sideline. Rosenberger, quick pass for Pino. Pino may look to cross here, and that was redirected toward goal, but not much on it. Easy stop for Dorr. And with just over 18 minutes to go, the Knights have really seized control over time of possession in the last 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, Dolphins have got to find a way, Joe, to get back on the other side of the pitch and try to get something with, as you mentioned, now under 18 minutes to go in regulation.
Knights in possession again, working toward the attacking third. Kadra circles back, gave it up. Harden plays it up to Rosenberger. Rosenberger into the box. Dorr there waiting. O'Donnell for Charsky. Charsky connected with Schlee, who had to give it back to Charsky. Again, the Knights send it back in the direction of the CSI goal. Bounces around the midfield. Serenelli will let it roll, and the Dolphins will throw. Off the throw, Urick along the touchline. Played it back, Serenelli. Serenelli wanted Jean Belay, couldn't connect. O'Donnell got it away. Charsky for Hammond. Melger got a piece. Urick still giving chase. Lewis does control. Here come the Knights up the near side. Taking her time with it is Lekanidis. All of a sudden, she has space, but her shot is well wide of the frame. Non-threatening chance there with just over 16 minutes to go.
Yeah, she made a nice move to set herself up for that shot, but just far right of the net. 16 exact minutes remaining in this game.
She took that ball most of the way up the pitch herself and moved into a scoring position. Couldn't put the shot on target, and the whistle handball there. Both men's soccer teams, Queens and Staten Island, getting warm over on the second field up the hill. They take the pitch next here at Dolphins Soccer Park. This game one of a doubleheader between the Dolphins and the Knights. Here comes Queens once again. Big break up there on that pass. Serenelli sent one toward Urick. Couldn't find her with that pass. Now Lewis, near side. Lekanidis. Short pass from Melger. She works toward the center of the pitch. Serenelli there to meet her pass, but it rebounds right onto the foot of Rosenberger. Here comes Harden. Harden into the box. Up the pitch. Came Goycochea. And Goycochea had it knocked away over the end line. And we had some pointing in the direction of the goal. I believe that was to let the players know there was an extra ball there if needed. But it is indeed a Knights corner kick. .14:20 to go. Just outside of our view. The corner is on the way. Dangerous spot, headed in the air. It lands in play. And goal kick is the call. Just me, Nick, or those trees in the corner there getting longer? I used to be able to see that corner.
They're getting longer.
Yeah. We'll have to trim those, and we have to trim the tree outside the baseball press box so that we can call softball from indoors. Plus, we get wired internet up in the box. I think it's a no-brainer.
Someone's got to tell them to stop the clock. There we go. But yes, I agree.
We can start a chant to trim those trees.
Rolls right off the tongue.
I'm all for the scenic look around the complex. Just need to take those branches down a little bit. Eventually, they're going to overtake the corner.
I know. Well, thankfully, with the season, that's something that we could hopefully get done for next season.
We move a bit slowly sometimes. Sometimes. I'm still without a desk, Nick. There's 2 very large file cabinets where my desk should be. Found out the other day, I inquired about the status of our work order to remove them. There wasn't one. Oops. Oops. Foreman doesn't need a desk.
14:05.
Why do officials see a headset and assume we're operating the clock?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know. They couldn't figure out who was operating the music in the venue last night when you and I were calling high school football.
That was bad.
We had about 2 straight minutes of music as the teams were getting ready to begin the fourth quarter.
And they kept radioing up, stop it, and everyone was saying, it's not us.
The DJ was at midfield vibing to the music while they're waiting to play the game.
That's happened to me before, and I had to keep telling the players that were in front of me, I'm like, it's not me. I'm trying to tell you it's not. I think I even got on the microphone and said, I think I made an announcement. This is not me.
That's funny. I would know it wasn't you. I would never hire somebody so incompetent. You would become my former colleague very quickly.
Yeah. I might have to fire myself if I did that.
You won't need to because I'll do it first.
Thanks.
Here come the Knights again, working toward the center of the pitch, looking for a shooting lane. Dolphins got a piece of that ball, but the flag goes up, and the shot was wide. And
I was going to say, Joe.
We've seen it time and time again. The Knights set up for a good chance.
Another one that was clear as day.
Up goes the flag, and they've gotten a bit too eager moving into scoring position, a bit too aggressive on a couple of runs. If they just take that back just a bit, there's a very good chance they could be leading in this game.
Yeah. They have 10 shots on goal in 3 corners, but have not been able to get that go-ahead strike, and a couple of the reasons why have been some of those offsides.
Ball in the midfield. Dolphins take control. Sola, short pass. Thompson gave it up. Keebles now moving forward. Only has an attacker with her and is forced into a left-footed shot from a tough angle. Dolphins get away with what could have been a big mistake right there.
Yeah, that was unfortunately an ill-advised pass right there. But with the Dolphins having the numbers, they forced that left-footed shot.
I can't shoot with the right foot, let alone the left, but I have 0 soccer experience.
It's kind of a good thing they don't ask us to do a faculty and staff soccer game because it'd be very ugly.
That'd be tough. Basketball's bad enough.
I was just about to say, basketball's already bad enough for us.
You know, the truth is, the worst thing about the basketball isn't the fact that we lose very badly. It's the fact that I know the kind of player I used to be and the kind of player I am. And not only do I fail to meet my expectations, but I'm in a lot of pain the next day.
I felt that after taking that charge in last year's game.
You know, there is some video buried somewhere of me attempting a PK. I could put one on goal without a goalkeeper. So I blame my shoe size. There's too much shoe.
I was trying to listen out what the announcement they just made was.
It was a substitution.
Okay. I thought they would make an announcement with something else.
I know what it was.
Okay.
Our good friend and astrology major, Joe Calabrese, was announcing that there's 11:11 left on the clock.
He did not announce that.
He didn't, but I knew you might believe it.
I really did. That's the worst part. I believed in like some of those AI videos.
Joe is not an astrology major. You know, Nick, I have to admit, I've thought about it, and there's actually a very funny story that we're going to share in a minute. But with the amount of audio of you and I that there is out there, and I think there's probably enough of me on camera at this point, they can make us do and say just about anything.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what kind of data that these AI databases truly have access to. A lot of our stuff, you'd have to kind of dig to find it, but there's plenty of video and audio of you and I out there. They could definitely get me to say anything. The reason I bring it up, though, a couple of years ago, we had a proud sponsor of CSI Athletics in Chi Aesthetics. You mentioned that you were watching a Barstool video on YouTube the other day, and mid-roll of the video, it was interrupted for a Chi Aesthetics ad featuring the voice of yours truly.
I thought I was going crazy. I said, why am I hearing Foreman right now?
That is remarkable that you got that ad on YouTube. Have you been looking at hormone replacement or any rejuvenation?
I really don't know why it popped up.
When I made the commercial, I said, am I going to get free steroids out of this? Can I say that?
You already did, so I guess so.
Big chance here for the night. Shot toward goal, high and wide. And again, Lekanitas making a bid. Did not miss by much with 9:22 remaining.
They stopped the clock as well, but we'll get a look at that shot.
I'll take a free hair dyeing if they can find a way to do it without chemically altering the structure of my hair. I might need it at this point. We're getting awfully gray. Though I have to admit, Nick, diet change is starting to reverse it.
I'm sure it is.
The roots are not coming in gray anymore. Who would have thought? Eat clean and your hair turns back. I wouldn't. I didn't consider it, that's for sure.
You had a whole PSA last night about
I
this.
did. I had a whole PSA. I actually had one on Wednesday, too, so.
Okay.
The more you know. Diet advice from
we gotta make
Joseph
a graphic
Foreman.
with that thing I was talking about last night, too.
I need to get my hands expanding with the stars in between. Dolphins with the takeaway on the edge of the attacking third for Queens. Quick passing up the pitch. Jean Belay looking, deciding where to go with it. Was tripped up and draws the foul.
You're starting to get to that point in this game, Joe, where 8 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. Not many chances are left for these two teams, so you got to take some advantage of it somehow, some way.
We've said it all afternoon, Nick. Seems like this would be the kind of game where it takes just one, that the first team to score would be in great position to win. Dolphins send one into the box, and up to get it is Heinz Hirsch.
That was the type of shot you wanted because you were looking for a little bit of a bounce where maybe the Dolphins can get the header over the goalie.
There wasn't a lot of foot traffic on that side. There was more foot traffic toward the back post there. Knights win the ball in the midfield. Broken up by Charsky. Queens controls again in the midfield. Ball sent to the corner. Rosenberger making the run, looking to cross. And it got through Charsky, and the shot is saved by Dorr. I was shocked that got through, Nick.
You and me both. We'll look at it in a replay in a few moments.
Curious if they got a piece of it on the way into the center of the box there, because I did not see that one getting through off the foot of Rosenberger. Just over 7 minutes to go. Melger, short pass. That one sent toward goal. Dorr is there again. Harden on that last shot. And the shot tally now for Queens, unofficially at 22. 10 on goal. Ball
They have
rolling.
10 on goal?
According to the live stats,
It's
we have 10, but we are a bit behind.
Okay.
The internet is very poor, Nick. I can't stress that enough. It's actually 26 shots and 13 on goal.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, you have to refresh when the internet gives out. Come basketball, that will not be an issue. And fortunately, our main broadcasting computer is wired. Free kick from just along the midfield stripe. Dorr couldn't get there, and neither could the Knights. Dolphins clear. 6 minutes to go. Rosenberger. Shot blocked. Melger toward the center of the pitch, gets it away. Lacanitas toward goal again, and Dorr knocks it down. A lot of traffic around her that time as well. Could not afford to allow a rebound. And the Dolphins goalkeeper now has 14 senior day saves. We approach 5 minutes to go. Here comes Melger. Looking to play Keebless through. O'Donnell right there with her. And she clears over the touchline. Knights will throw. Keebless again, trying to accelerate through traffic, couldn't get by. And the Dolphins play it up toward Jean Belay. Jean Belay's strong touch, looking to control. Lewis is there. And Lewis standing her ground, allows it to roll over the touchline for a Queens throw. Short throw, Melger. Ball played back to Anjuli. Now sent to the far side. Lacanitas across midfield, looking ahead. Long ball up the pitch, skips in the box. Keebless hoping for a shot. Could not get one. And Keebless is very upset.
Yeah, she was trying to get an opportunity, but I believe that was Thompson that gave her no chance. Excuse me, that was Hammond.
4 minutes to go. Dolphins possess it. Nagel for Vasquez. Ball pinballing around. Still loose. Knights control. Rosenberger. Quick pass. Melger. She gets by Kovalenko. And just got it to Kadra, but the Dolphins controlled in the back. Cirinelli enters the midfield with 3:30 to go. Her pass for Jean Belay broken up. Lacanitas moving into the attacking third. She is tripped up. Did not hear a whistle. Goal kick. Queens bench didn't like it. And with just over 3 minutes to go, the Dolphins set up for a goal kick.
The clock will be stopped at 3:05. It's going to be Mia Cole now re-entering the game.
Mia Cole in. Annika Urick to the bench. Under 3 minutes to go. Depending on what happens at 3 p.m., it could be now or never for the Dolphins. Mathematically would still be alive, but it's a game they'd really like to have, hoping for a late strike. Cirinelli working through traffic. Thompson back to Charsky. Dorr coming forward. Quickly gets it away for Hammond. Hammond now looking up the pitch. Vasquez wanted Nagel. Melger intercepts. Thompson got a piece. And that took a bad bounce for the Dolphins. Fortunately, Keebless couldn't control. Nagel forced to clear with 2:05 to go.
And we talk about how important, what we've seen a couple times this season, Joe, where teams have more opportunities in the last 2 minutes.
Last 2 minutes of each half rarely disappoint. We'll see if either of these teams can generate a chance. That ball bending into the box. And Dorr gets on top of it right along the end line. 1:40 to go. Dolphins need to move quickly. Dorr punting it into the midfield. Kovalenko plays it with the head now. Cole couldn't keep it on her foot. And it gets through Keebles onto the foot of Hammond. Back to Dorr with under 1:20 to play. Time on your screen unofficial. We're about 10 seconds ahead. Yeah, we had that stoppage earlier. Jean Belay works toward the center of the pitch. Kovalenko wanted Cole, but bit of a miscommunication there. Serenelli had some room as well. Dolphins trying to keep it in the attacking third. Queens looking to move the other way. Dolphins meet it in the midfield. Thompson. Poor pass, and that one is going to roll all the way down toward the corner, and the Dolphins will throw with under 40 seconds to play. .30 seconds on the clock. Long throw. O'Donnell headed back toward the top of the box. Hammond there waiting, lets it roll to Dorr. And with 20 seconds left, maybe one last chance for the Dolphins if they hurry. Dorr gets her leg into that one. Nagel in the midfield. It bounces toward Jean Belay. 10 seconds to go. And the Knights control. One last rush. And time will run out as the Dolphins and the Knights play to a scoreless draw. For Queens, it is 1 point. They remain in 5th in the ECC standings. Same 1 point goes to the Dolphins. For the time being, they are in the 6th and final playoff spot. They're going to need some help, Nick. They are pulling for Stack this afternoon against Deauville. And they'll have a couple of games left of their own to try and pick up some points in conference play and propel the team to their first playoff appearance in the Division II era.
Yeah, and, tip your cap to the senior today, Brianna Dorjo. What a performance on senior day. 14 saves in this game. I think you have the official tally mark of how many shots in total in this game were. I know it's above 25. But 14 shots on goal for the Knights, and she was able to stop every single shot, keep the game scoreless, and give the Dolphins at least a point in this matchup. But as you mentioned, now the Dolphins will be scoreboard watching later on today, hoping that Deauville loses that game to Stack and that they can keep that spot in the top 6 of the ECC standings.
Well, Nick, you have way too much faith in our wireless internet. I do not have the shot tally because I'm disconnected from the internet over the wireless network.
Took a chance.
We can try one time right here, see if we can get on quickly, but
maybe I could pull it up on my
regardless of the shot tally, it is a scoreless draw for the Dolphins and the Knights. I do have the tally, Nick. Final shot tally, Queens 28, 14 on goal.
28.
The Dolphins with 4, none of those on target. And if you look at all the metrics and all the numbers, it was a dominant effort for Queens. They simply failed to find the back of the net. The Dolphins just didn't generate enough scoring chances in this one to give themselves any real opportunity to put a goal up on the board. Their 2 best chances both came on free kicks from Caitlin Thompson. The first one narrowly missing wide. The second one well above the bar. Queens contacted the bar. Queens from in close had multiple shot attempts. Just couldn't put one past Brianna Dorr. Not to be lost in all of this, Nick. It is a great performance for Dorr on senior day. 14 saves, another shutout. And you have to like what she did in net. If you're the College of Staten Island, it was a very impressive effort for her here on senior day. And what will be her final home match, barring, I think, a miraculous turnaround late in the season where a lot of teams the Dolphins need to lose, and the Dolphins pick up a couple of wins. They won't be hosting a home playoff match, so in all likelihood for Dorr, this is it for her career here at home.
Yeah, and I was trying to see if I could find the most amount of saves she's had in a shutout. And in terms of shots on goal, I would have to look back, but I don't have that number off the top of my head. But you mentioned it. Great performance by Dorr in this game. You cannot ask much more out of your senior goalkeeper that's trying to not only extend the Dolphins' season, but extend her career as well. She would like to see a playoff berth before this season ends. So great opportunity for CSI, but as we mentioned, they will have to scoreboard watch later and see what happens in that game. And then they still have a couple more games remaining on their season as they try to get into the postseason this at the end of the year.
As for you and I, Nick, we are back on the air in about 30 minutes. Men's soccer takes on Queens College coming up next. It's a big game for the men as well. Not quite as urgent for them as it is for the women, but the Dolphins will be looking for a big conference win against a team that has received some regional votes. So a big matchup coming up next between the Dolphins and the Knights. You can catch that game right back here on CSI Sportsnet, streaming exclusively on Flow College. But until then, this has been Joe Foreman alongside Nicholas Bavona. For those of you who have joined us all season long for women's soccer, we thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and especially thank you to all of those who have supported us by purchasing a subscription over at Flow College. We appreciate your viewership all year long. Hopefully, you get the chance to hear from us again later down the line. For all watching just the women's soccer game, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And for those tuning into the men's game, you can catch that coming up right back here on Flow College in approximately 30 minutes.